Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you guys to another episode of BoomBox Talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm your host, LB. So, today's topic, man, and this is something that I've been really wanting to touch on for quite a while, bro. And I think I actually might have made a video similar to this maybe several years ago. But I want to talk about, well, hold on, let me start this over. This is what I want to know. Why am I still seeing comments on YouTube videos with people talking about hip hop is dead? Why am I still seeing those comments? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm really getting irritated from seeing these comments, man, because it makes no sense, bro. Listen, I know that probably most of those comments are aimed towards more of the mainstream hip hop, more what's popular, what you're hearing on the radio, and everything like that. But listen, bro, to sit there and just say hip hop in general is dead, it's so ridiculous, man, especially now in the era that we're living in. Now, I know people have their criticisms about streaming and things of that nature, but we're living in an era where you have Spotify, you have Tidal, you have Apple Music, you got SoundCloud, YouTube. You have all these things on the internet where it is so much easier to find the type of artist that you're looking for, especially in hip hop, man. So I'm gonna keep this specifically to hip hop. There's a lot of great hip hop artists out there, new and up and coming artists. Now, Griselda Records, that's probably the biggest right now of hip hop artists that have really brought that raw, more gutter, rugged hip hop sound to this newer generation. You know, a lot of their production, a lot of that stuff reminds me of like the rough boom bap stuff from the 90s, bro. But they've updated it and they've brought it to a new generation. And they're the biggest name out there right now. I mean, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher. I mean, these guys are big names. They're big names in hip hop now. All three of them have like signed to major labels and stuff of that nature. They got their own label, Griselda, where they've signed a bunch of really talented MCs and artists under their label. I mean, they're really doing it big. So when you have a faction like that that's actually putting out that real like hip hop with substance, that real kind of grimy, raw stuff that is reminiscent of what was so prominent in the 90s, how can you say that? How can you still be saying that hip hop is dead? And it's not just them, man. There's a lot of artists, man, who are up and coming, maybe a bit on the underground, even some that are even signed to major labels that are putting out quality music, man. You know what I'm saying? Earl Sweatshirt puts out quality records. You know, J. Cole puts out quality records. Kendrick Lamar puts out quality records. All of these people are signed to major labels. Rhapsody puts out great work. You know, Knife Wonder is still out there doing his thing. There's a lot of good music out there. There's a lot of good hip hop music. And even the veterans, even the legends, the icons, a lot of the legends and icons out there are still dropping quality work. Look at Nas. I think 2021 was one of his best years. You know, even prior to that, you know, he dropped that first King's Disease album, which got a lot of critical acclaim. Then he dropped the next one last year, and then he dropped another album before the end of the year called Magic, which has gotten a lot of accolades. Nas is really killing it. So how can you really say that hip hop is dead? It's just ridiculous to me, man. It's like either y'all are just too lazy to go out there and find this music, which makes no sense since it's so much easier to do now. Or maybe you've just given up on hip hop music. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it, man. This old former friend of mine that I used to talk to on a regular basis, man. Every time I would talk to him on the phone, me and him would be talking about music and stuff like that, and he would always talk about, man, hip hop is dead, man. And I'm like, dude, hip hop is not. I would always argue with him like, man, hip hop is not dead. Hip hop is not dead. There's still good music out there. You can go out there and look for it. It's easy to do it. It's not that hard. I'm just tired of it. You know what I'm saying? Because the people that keep reiterating that, they're not helping hip hop culture, man. If anything, they're a detriment to it. So just stop with the whole hip hop is dead phrase. I mean, this is not 2006, 2007. You know what I'm saying? We there's so much has happened in between that time, man. Listen, all of that lyricism, the real MCing, that's coming back. It's come back, but it's coming back more, and I believe it's coming back stronger. Like you see it with Griselda, you see it with them. It's coming back, and even the people that may not be as well known as Griselda, there's a lot of cats that are more on the underground tip that are bringing it back. It's a whole movement of that's coming back really strong. So stop saying it, man. Stop saying that hip hop is dead. And here's another thing. Here's another thing that I want to touch on that I'm really getting tired of seeing in YouTube comments. I'm sick and tired of people always talking about hip hop died after Tupac and Biggie. Yo, that needs to be deaded. That needs to be deaded right now, honestly. I'm putting it out there. That needs to be deaded. Listen, I respect Tupac and Biggie to the utmost. You know, I grew up on them. I was fortunate enough to, be of age to remember both of them when they were alive. You know what I'm saying? I respect everything that they contributed to hip hop culture. But here's the thing. Hip hop didn't begin with Tupac and Biggie, and it didn't end with them. I know that both of them guys unfortunately passed away at the prime of their careers, at the peak of it. Both of them were at the highest points of their careers when they passed away, and that was very unfortunate. But hip hop did not die when they did. Pac died September 13th of 96. Biggie died a few months later in March of 97. So you're telling me that after 96, 97, after the untimely demise of both Pac and Biggie, that was just the end of hip hop. So you're telling me there were no longer any more classic hip hop albums being released. There were no longer any more groundbreaking artists that were breaking through into hip hop music that was changing the game. So since hip hop died after Tupac and Biggie, so that means that what DMX done, even though DMX actually came out before, in the early 90s, it was the late 90s when he had his breakthrough. So you're saying that those classic records that DMX put out don't matter. You're saying that the Rough Riders movement meant nothing. Because remember, all that came into fruition after Pac and Biggie. So you're saying the Cash Money and No Limit eras don't matter. You're saying the whole Southern hip hop explosion with Ludacris and everybody, you saying none of that matters. When Kanye came into emergence, you know what I'm saying, with the college dropout and late registration and graduation and everything else, you're saying none of that stuff matters. Lupe Fiasco don't matter. So you're saying none of that stuff matters. Because let's remember, all of these artists that I just named, they were dropping classics, masterpieces, timeless classics that are still being talked about today. And remember, like I said, let me say this. DMX, even though DMX technically was out in the early 90s, it was the late 90s when he finally had his breakthrough. DMX is one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. I mean, he transcended hip hop. Everybody knew DMX. So you're saying everything that he did and everything that he accomplished don't matter, since most of you are leaving these comments saying that hip hop died after Tupac and Biggie, right? You see how stupid that sounds? See how ridiculous that is? How that doesn't make any sense? Maybe some of you stopped listening to hip hop after Tupac and Biggie died, and you know what? That's unfortunate on your part, because if you did do that, you missed out on a lot of great music that came after that. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. There's been a tremendous amount of classic hip hop albums that have come out since Tupac and Biggie's deaths. So, too bad for you that you missed out on those, when they initially came out, if that's the way that you're thinking. But that's really all that I wanted to say on this episode of BoomBox Talk, man. I'm just tired of seeing this whole hip-hop is dead thing. There's no reason why in 2022, why people should still be saying that, especially since hip hop has now become the biggest genre of music in the world. And I know that a lot of what we see on the mainstream tip is more like the watered down version of trap music and so forth. But under underneath that, or if you look past it, there's a lot of really good hip hop artists that are dropping a lot of quality music with substance. And it's not that hard to seek it out. With the internet, the way the internet has become so prominent, at the click of a button, all you got to do is type in a search engine, go on Spotify, look up a certain artist, and you'll find what music that they have available. It's not that hard anymore. So there's no excuse. Stop with the whole hip hop is dead thing. This is not 2006, 2007 anymore. All right? Stop it. Listen, initially back then, I kind of was getting on that wave, but after a while I stopped agreeing with that, because I was starting to discover other hip hop artists that were really good, new artists that were actually putting out substance even back then. And that's when I was like, you know what? This isn't true. Hip hop isn't dead, man. And listen, and here's another thing. Maybe some of you are making these comments because you're judging by what you hear on the radio. Who even still listens to radio anymore? Like who? I mean, I know probably casual music listeners, people who just want some kind of background noise when they're driving, still listen to radio. But honestly, if you claim to be a music fan, do you honestly really still listen to radio? I know I don't. I can't even remember the last time I sat down and listened to radio in my car. The only time that I listen to radio now is when I'm watching YouTube, and I'm watching like their YouTube channels like Hot 97 or The Breakfast Club. Well, I don't watch The Breakfast Club no more because, yeah, they pretty much suck now. But anyway, that's the only time when when Sway's Universe is doing something, or Big Boy's Neighborhood. That's really the only time I listen to radio. The only reason why people want to still listen to radio is to hear the interviews that they're doing with artists. But you can do that on YouTube because it's better, because you're getting a clip, you're getting a visual of it. But honestly, how many music lovers out there can honestly say that they still listen to radio like that? I don't think there's many. Most of my new music, I get it from YouTube. I get it from Spotify or some of these streaming services, or the community of friends that I have. They'll put me on to something new and tell me, hey, you need to check this out. You need to check that out. Other YouTube channels, I watch where people are putting out, promoting music and things of that nature, man. That's where I get the news. That's where I discover a lot of these newer artists, especially, like in hip hop, specifically in hip hop on this episode. But yeah, that's where I get that's where I discover like my new hip hop artists that are more on my lane, because I'm somebody that really likes that real, like, kind of lyrical MC type hip hop. Although I do veer off to the ignorant stuff every once in a while. Sometimes I just get in that mode. But yeah, like, honestly, if you're basing that off of radio, that's ridiculous. If you're I'm pretty sure you can't be basing it off of television, because we really don't have any music channels anymore. MTV doesn't play music anymore, except for maybe like early in the mornings when people are in the bed or probably going to work. I think the only music network that still does that is CMT, the country music station. The country music channel. I think CMT is the only. I think they're the only ones that still have like video shows that show music videos, and even then, that's like early in the mornings. But if you're basing that off of these mainstream avenues or whatever, then it's ridiculous. Then you're not even in the know. You don't even know what's really going on out there. But yeah, man, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest, man. Like, to all you out there that's leaving those comments talking about hip hop is dead or whatever, man, just stop it. And listen, most of you are going on videos of artists that you don't even like, and you're leaving those comments. Like, if you don't like listening to 21 Savage, then why are you watching his videos? Why are you going to watch one of his videos and leave one of those comments? That doesn't make any sense. Or if you don't really like Drake, Why are you gonna watch his videos and just leave one of those comments? You do know that you're giving them views and helping them out, right? And I'm not saying that you should boycott them or anything. But I'm just saying, why are you wasting your time? Because these are usually the type of artists where I see those comments on. Like, the more mainstream artists with that more modern trap sound that's really popular now. That's been popular for so long. I see it on those type of videos. It's like, if this is not your lane, if this is not the type of music that you listen to, then why are you even on the video watching it? But yeah, man, enough is enough, man. Just stop with the whole hip hop is dead thing, because it's not. Just because you checked out a long time ago, that's on you. But don't sit there and try to just generalize and say hip hop is dead, and stop saying that it died after Tupac and Biggie, because there's been plenty of classic hip hop albums to come out, and there's still continuing to be classics coming out. Maybe all you that's saying that stuff should just wake up and try to go out there and look for it. Because let me tell you, there's an avenue. Hip hop has changed. I know you got the mainstream stuff, but at the same time, I've noticed that there's also a lane for people who enjoy like quality hip hop. Like they're actually calling it adult hip hop or contemporary hip hop now, because it's more music with substance and with lyricism and everything like that. And it may not necessarily be what the younger people are wanting to hear. It's like people like me who grew up in the 90s and 2000s, where you had to be dope. You had to have bars. You had to have some lyrics. You had to have some type of quality in order to be respected. There's actually a lane that's being created for that type of hip hop now. So maybe you should start watching YouTube channels of people that are promoting this type of stuff, and go that way. I can tell you 2 channels right now, right on the top of my head, man. There's a guy named Misanthropic One. He talks about a lot of dope, like, underground hip hop, and a lot of the artists be dope too, man. They be lyricists, man, lyrical. And then there's a Speak Your Cloud podcast. They talk about a lot of great hip hop music as well, man. Check those out. Those are 2 right there. Oh, and another one, a gentleman named Immobilarity One. Check them out. Those are the 3 right off the bat that I can think of. But check those channels out. You know what I'm saying? I just gave y'all something right there. I just gave y'all a jump start right there with those 3 channels. So yeah, man, enough is enough of the whole hip hop is dead thing, because it's not. The only thing that needs to be deaded is that whole statement, because it's not true. It's not 2006 anymore, y'all. Come on, let's get with it. But anyway, that's all that I really want to get off my chest today. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of BoomBox Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these BoomBox Talk episodes, man. Just leave me a comment or something in the comment box. Shout out to all my old and new subscribers. Shout out to everybody out there that's actually been taking the time to watch the videos. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and give me a like. Helps with the algorithm. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I drop new content. And as always, hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed week, and love, peace, and music. Peace out, y'all.